All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's video. I have a very special guest with me today. You might recognize Nicole from a previous video where I did a little interview and she shared her journey so far after having joined Kickstart and later on the Catalyst program to build, grow, and scale a reselling business on Amazon. So, welcome, Nicole. Thank you for taking time out again to join me and share an update on your journey so far.
Happy to, give a little bit of an update. I think the last time we met, I think it was about 90 days in, or maybe 60 days in or something around that mark. So, just to recap, I started the business at the beginning of the year, so beginning of 2024, and I sent my first units in mid-March. About 3 days after sending in my products, I was able to make my first sales, which was really exciting. Just because I'm sure, like many people, you're a little nervous getting going with everything, and you want that proof of concept and being able to see right away that the things that I had chosen to purchase and then send to Amazon were actually, in fact, in demand items, as I was hoping they would be based on all the data and all the numbers. But to have sales so quickly was, reassuring. From there, I've had little mini goals to try and, increase the amount of sales that I've had every month. And so far, every month, other than July, which I think was just a matter of probably Prime days, playing a little bit of a role. And I know through some of our discussions in our like private Facebook groups that, sometimes July could be a little bit of a slower month for some sellers. Some people didn't have that happen. So, it just depends. But I did see that my numbers were down just slightly from June in July, but not dramatically. So I finally in June had hit my first 2,000 sale month, which was great because prior to that I hadn't hit that goal. I slowly, steadily, went up each month with just that little dip in July. And I was telling Josh before we actually started the recording that I looked at the numbers because I hadn't really been paying attention to in the last month the total sales since the beginning. And I'm a little over 8,300 for the year. So my goal now, of course, will be to make sure that in August we can have enough sales to hit the 10K mark. So
That would be
that's kind
incredible.
of that's where we're at numbers wise right now.
Amazing, and that's a huge congratulations to you because that I know you're not there yet, but I have no doubt that you'll hit that 10K milestone this month. And just for the purposes of, in case anyone's wondering, we are in the first week of, or just into the second week of August here. So with where you are right now, it's very likely that you're going to hit that milestone. So big congrats for that. And I know you'd spoken last time when we first caught up on your journey so far. You mentioned your goals. So what's next after you hit that milestone? Where are you going to take things next with the business?
I probably mentioned it the last time we talked, but it's all for me like scaling and just really continuing to figure out the best ways to scale the business. I think one of the challenges is just figuring out how much of products to purchase, the variety of products to have. I did a quick peek to see what I have right now, and I have 33 different SKUs in Amazon. So I do try to make sure that I have a lot of different things going on. Just because you never know what's going to be hot right now. You try to look at some of the trends and what's popular on Amazon. But it can be very hit or miss. And it's not to say that I don't have challenges. It hasn't been all, just fantastic things happening every month. I've hit different, roadblocks across the way. In fact, one of the recent things that came up for me was trying to get Amazon to release some inventory to me that I wanted to pull. It was showing a status of reserved, and it took me like well over a month just to finally get them to release that product so that I could actually put in a request to have those items sent back to me. So, while you're trying to scale the business and figure out what products to source, all of that, then there's all these other things happening that sometimes derail that, or get into your head that make it feel like, do I want to keep doing this? This is like not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So for me right now, because I'm not necessarily I'm turning a profit, okay, but I'm not like, I can't pay my bills off of this profit right now. So I guess my next goal would be, we've got to finish kind of clearing up the original spent capital to get the business going at the beginning of the year, making sure that I'm not overusing a credit card to make purchases, that I'm also seeing a return on that through sales. So for me right now, I guess for the end of the year, the goal is to just try to break even, so to speak, if I can. Of course, if I can reach that sooner than the end of the year, great. But right now, my focus is I want to pay myself back and make sure that the investment I put into Kickstart and Catalyst and other business expenses to get things going at the beginning of the year, if I can bring myself to a point where I've broken even there, I think I'll feel good going into 2025, that then I can make some new goals as far as sales and profit. So right now, that's been my biggest focus, is just I want to make sure that I'm making back the money that I put in the business as quickly as possible.
That's a really interesting way to look at it for sure. And it's not a conversation I often have with people who are first starting up in business. So I love that you've thought about this, having your expenses at the beginning, and you as the business owner contributing your own personal funds to start the business, the startup costs and things like that, and then tracking the business making profit to be able to pay you back. Let's say it's not a conversation I often have with business owners. So I'm very pleased that you're keeping a close eye on that, because it is important to watch out for those sort of things. And of course, you mentioned the challenges that you face along the way. I think one of the things that I don't know about you and for those of you watching, but personally, I enjoy those challenges along the way, because I then think to myself, the amount of people that are going through this, and you kind of see why some people don't make it, because they reach a roadblock, something like what you were describing there, and they throw in the towel. But what we know as people who've been through that is that once you overcome those roadblocks and you push through those challenges, it's all good on the other side of it. And at the end of the day, I guess anything that's worth doing will have challenges and difficulties along the way. It's your ability to be able to push through, overcome those challenges, and get to the other side, and continue to grow. Whatever happens going forward, there will always be a new challenge or a problem to overcome. There's a book, I think the author is Ryan Holiday, wrote about The Obstacle is the Way. It's the title. And I always think about that whenever I come up against some kind of challenge, because I then realize that the obstacle that's being put in front of me is the doorway, the gateway to the next level of the business. So, and another interesting way to look at these things we approach and that we meet on our journey as business owners. So
I think if everything was all smooth sailing, I'd be a little more nervous, because I'd be wondering, when
yeah,
is the ball going to drop? Like, why is everything going so well? Where is that, obstacle or hurdle that I'm supposed to, run into? So yeah, I completely agree. I think, the challenges help you look back and appreciate the journey as you get through them. And it makes it easier the next time something similar comes up. You know that you've been able to get through it the previous time. And so now you maybe know how to navigate it a little bit easier or better to get it resolved sooner than the first time you obviously had to go through it and you didn't really necessarily know this all the steps to take or the tips and tricks to use to maybe get there sooner. So
that's right. Makes a lot of sense. Gives you confidence to tackle the next challenge when it comes up. Like you said, you got confidence in the fact that you beat it once before you'll beat it again. I guess with the business model reselling, it's a simple business model, but it's not always easy. Like you said, simple in that it's a very simple, straightforward model. We buy discounted products from online retailers and resell them for a profit on Amazon. Nice and simple, but there will be some things along the way that challenge us and make us push us outside our comfort zone.
yeah, and I also am looking to expand. I guess I didn't mention this, but try to work more on some of the other sources of selling. So outside of Amazon,
Okay.
I don't remember if I mentioned it previously, but I also had already been selling on eBay. And in the US, we can also sell on Poshmark and Macari. And I was using those platforms, casually. I was trying to make money, but I wasn't necessarily like trying to earn a living off of it. That's another source for me of selling. And I haven't done a lot this year with that. I have made some sales. While those platforms maybe aren't as large or have as big of an audience or advertising as Amazon does, you still have the opportunity to at least break even on those products or still make a profit by moving them to a different platform.
Great advice indeed. And just to underline that, that's exactly what I do in my business. If we have any issues with any product, we just remove it from Amazon if it requires removal and get it liquidated on another platform. We get our money back, take that and reinvest it into another product that we can make some profit from. Sometimes, like you say, we're able to make a small profit. We've got gating and compliance and things like that can cause for products to all of a sudden not be able to be sold on the platform. But to know and be once again confident that there's always going to be an outlet for those, and it's not going to be a loss situation. Makes you feel a little bit safer making those investments going forward if you're looking at other products, doesn't it? Especially when you're looking at perhaps higher price products and being
Absolutely.
concerned about them
Yeah.
to get stuck or something. Well, thanks so much again for taking time out of your day to join me and catch us all up again today. Much appreciated. And hey, maybe we'll catch up again in the new year after you've got Q4 under your belt and see how you come along after that. That's all been taken care of.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd love to discuss how that all went for sure.
Awesome. Thanks again, Nicole, and catch up again soon.
Sounds good.